Haley Welch, best known for her off-the-cuff comment,
"What's one move in bed that makes a man go crazy every time?"
You gotta give him that hawk to it. Spit on that thing, you get me?
is under fire after releasing a crypto token that many people online are now saying was nothing more than a scam.
I was in an open investigation, going to see the FBI, and then the SEC reached out. Everything else was shut down.
The Tuah Girl, CoffeeZilla, Mimicoins, and even the SEC. At first glance, these names seem worlds apart, yet they collided in one of the most spectacular personal explosions of the social media era, Haley Welch. And for many, it was a downfall that felt entirely deserved. It all began with a spontaneous moment during a street interview in Nashville, Tennessee. In June 2024, Haley, a blonde, tipsy, southern-drawled factory worker with no preparation, blurted out a silly but oddly addictive phrase.
You gotta give him that hawk to it. Spit on that thing.
Overnight, Haley skyrocketed from an anonymous worker at a Tennessee spring factory to an internet sensation, dubbed the meme queen. Her video racked up 18 million views in under 48 hours. Seizing the moment, she lawyered up to protect her rights as others cashed in on merchandise and videos tied to her fame.
So it's like everybody else is making money off of it with merchandise, and he's making money off videos. It's like, that's not fair. Like, it's me. Why am I not making any money? So I went and I got all my act together. Here I am.
The deals came flooding in: a $30,000 appearance at a nightclub for Spencer's retail chain, a batch of Tuah hats that sold out and netted $65,000 in days. Not stopping there, Welch launched the Tuah podcast and the Tuah dating app, her image flooding TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. Fans plastered her face on t-shirts, remixed her catchphrase into EDM tracks, and even tattooed it as a badge of a new cultural icon. She founded Paws Across America, a dog charity spreading positivity and rallying donations. Jake Paul hailed her as a new icon, TMZ trailed her every move, and Eminem name-dropped her to promote his album. For a moment, it seemed Tuah Girl might outlive the fleeting trend that birthed her, cementing herself as a lasting pop culture brand. But the spotlight didn't linger. Just 766 days later, Haley faced a storm of accusations. Ungrateful to Tim and DTV, the YouTube channel that first propelled her to fame. Tied to a meme coin scam that wiped out investors in hours, under SEC scrutiny, and drowned in a tidal wave of online backlash. Each attempt to claw her way back only painted her as greedy, slippery, and unlikable in the eyes of her once adoring audience. Haley Welch's brief career can be summed up as a cascade of poor choices, alienating even her fiercest supporters. She had every chance to remain a harmless, funny figure, but instead dove headfirst into financial scandals and controversies. And honestly, after breaking it all down, by the end of this story, you might conclude that Haley was never meant to be a brand at all. So how did Haley Welch, from a girl lacking parental love, living with her grandmother in Belfast, suddenly become a famous phenomenon, earning hundreds of thousands of dollars, but then after a short time was ridiculed by the entire internet as a hypocrite and a fraud? September 2024, Haley Welch, widely known as the Tuah Girl, found herself engulfed in controversy when she downplayed the role of Tim and DTV, the YouTube channel that launched her into internet fame. During an interview, Haley voiced discomfort over the viral spread of her clip, despite having willingly joined friends to record it, fully aware it would be aired.
First 2 weeks, I was like, oh my God, why would I talk to them?
Why make us the villain if you would do it again?
Me personally, I still genuinely don't have hate towards her, for real, not at all.
When the Tuah video exploded online, she requested its removal, but only after 5 days. Tim, the channel's creator, claimed Haley had even engaged a second lawyer to issue a demand letter, a claim she refuted, labeling it fake news on social media. These actions not only eroded her personal credibility but also tarnished her public image. Many criticized her lack of gratitude as ungracious, urging her to reconsider her stance. Reeling from the uproar and after declining an OnlyFans offer, Haley left Tennessee for Hollywood, staking her future on her podcast, Tuah. Yet the earlier damage to her reputation took a heavy toll on the podcast's success. Its premiere episode featuring Whitney Cummings drew 2 million views, but much of the audience tuned in to mock rather than support. Subsequent episodes saw a steep decline, with some failing to reach even 30,000 views. The internet's laughter had turned from camaraderie to ridicule. Haley then launched Tuah, a dating app hyped as an AI-driven revolution in love, only for it to be swiftly dismissed as a glitzy, shallow imitation of Tinder. Abruptly, the internet's affection for Haley waned. Sensing her fading goodwill, she shifted gears, founding Paws Across America, a dog-focused charity to raise funds and promote positivity. Some were moved by her efforts, others scoffed, questioning, is this an attempt to clean up her image? Regardless of her intentions, Haley pressed forward, striving to maintain her foothold in the spotlight and prove she was more than just a fleeting meme. As things began to heat up, her charity gaining traction, her podcast stabilizing, and the media starting to smile again, Haley should have known to pause and focus on meaningful community work. But, unfortunately, she stumbled into the all-too-human pitfalls of greed and temptation. As you all know, greed doesn't have a pause button, and Haley couldn't resist its alluring pull. The Tuah Girl took one step further, and this time, it was a misstep, marking the most controversial decision of her career. The online community branded her a new archetype of digital greed, a girl who rose from a single catchphrase, milking every second of fame for personal gain and for the shadowy network behind her. She first introduced it as a financial bridge, empowering the fan community through blockchain technology. In an industry rife with rug pulls and scams, her promises were immediately scrutinized. Hawk Coin was pitched as a revolutionary project, a decentralized ecosystem, exclusive NFTs, and a play-to-earn game, all designed to leverage blockchain technology for the benefit of fans. But as project details emerged, red flags appeared. Experts quickly identified issues: a white paper lacking technical depth, a vague roadmap, and a focus on hype over substantive mechanics. The tokenomics raised concerns. A large portion of the supply was allocated to the team and marketing, with the press offering steep discounts to early investors, signaling a clear pump-and-dump risk. Skeptical eyes watched, but the story followed a familiar script. It began with an inspiring narrative, skillfully building trust, then subtly suggesting they too could achieve the same with tantalizing promises of rewards. Despite these warnings, Welch relentlessly promoted Hawk Coin through posts and interviews, pledging to revolutionize the intersection of social media and cryptocurrency. The fan community buzzed with excitement, counting down the hours, spreading predictions of skyrocketing value. And the day came when, on a podcast, she declared,
Do you do anything with crypto?
Yeah, I do a lot with crypto, actually. I've got a shit ton of Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Oh yeah, if I want a meme coin, can I give you some tokens?
Yeah, I'll give you my wallet. I'll give you my wallet.
Okay.
And then boom, Hawk Tuah token was born, a flashy meme coin marketed as the spirit of freedom, but in reality a scheme to siphon money from naive trust.
My Hawk meme coin is live!
Haley gleefully announced on Twitter as if unveiling a delightful gift. Indeed, the initial launch seemed to justify the hype. The token's price skyrocketed, hitting a market cap of over $500 million in just hours. Early investors celebrated massive profits and social media buzzed with tales of instant crypto billionaires. But behind closed doors, it was undeniably a success for some. On-chain data revealed large wallets likely tied to the team or early investors quietly dumping massive amounts of tokens. Within hours, Hawk Coin's price plummeted catastrophically, wiping out the gains of countless retail investors. The price crashed 90%, as swift as the Tuah that made Welch famous. Rumors spread like wildfire. Insiders allegedly pocketed $3 million. 15% of the token supply landed in 2,000 connected wallets, which sold off as soon as trading began. The market cap fell from its peak to $50 million, with transaction fees devouring one. A devastated user shared, "I poured my life savings into this, now it's all gone." Another investor lost $2 million in just 20 minutes. The crypto community erupted with rug pull accusations. On-chain analysis showed large wallets stealthily withdrew millions in tokens, converting to stablecoins at the peak. Transaction fees alone in the first 24 hours funneled nearly $2 million to the development team, fueling suspicions about the project's true intent. Meanwhile, Welch and her team opted for a suspiciously deafening silence, leaving the community's outrage to escalate daily. On X, blockchain detectives began tracing every transaction, unraveling a complex web of wallets behind Hawk Coin. As the project officially collapsed, calls for CoffeeZilla, the YouTuber famed for exposing online scams, to investigate grew louder. Unsurprisingly, his team uncovered a litany of red flags in Hawk Coin's operations. "This is one of the sloppiest launches I've ever seen." So why was she involved? The profits from this scam, that's what it's about, CoffeeZilla concluded.
"This is one of the most miserable, horrible launches I've ever seen in my life."
Haley fired back along with her team.
"You pull a rug. I don't know what you're trying to say. It's not true. Yeah, that's defamation."
CoffeeZilla tightened the noose further. Citing Bubble Map's data, he pointed out, 96% of the token supply is held by the team, split across numerous smaller wallets, a clear hallmark of insider trading. The Hawk team denied selling tokens or gifting them to influencers, but CoffeeZilla exposed
obviously a screenshot of a lot of sells from insiders who did not have to pay. How did you get free tokens? Well, you were an insider, right?
The question struck like a dagger to the heart of the matter. With $2.8 million raised from the pre-sale, the team's target was clearly not savvy investors but pure fans, those who'd never touched a chart or understood market caps. "I know what you're thinking. Who falls for this?" CoffeeZilla said. They weren't targeting crypto investors, they were targeting real fans, people who've never touched crypto. They didn't know any better. They didn't care. They just thought, "Oh, free tokens. Now I'm part of the community." Done, he continued, citing internal Hawk documents.
Someone just made over $1 million on fees. Who made it?
First of all, the fees were there with Meteor Pools, and that goes to, yes, the creator, right?
Who is the project?
Well, the project is over here, Haley Welch.
Notably, the name Alexander Larson Schultz, also known as Doc Hollywood, emerged as a central figure. With a history tied to failed crypto projects and connections in the entertainment industry, Schultz appeared to be the mastermind behind Hawk Coin. These revelations shook the faith of fans, as a project promoted as community-driven began to look like a staged performance by seasoned scammers. After days of radio silence, Haley Welch and the Hawk Coin team finally surfaced in a tense Twitter Spaces session, as if to prove they still had a shred of credibility in the crypto world. But from the outset, the atmosphere was thick with suspicion. They blamed snipers, automated trading bots, for the catastrophic price crash of Hawk Coin. The explanation sounded like a hollow jest, convincing few. Welch, visibly strained, claimed she lacked deep technical knowledge and insisted she too had been deceived. These words clashed starkly with her earlier vibrant, enthusiastic promotions. When pressed with tough questions, she abruptly left the discussion, leaving a trail of unanswered queries, a scar etched deep in the minds of her followers. In the murky swamp of crypto, Tuah Coin was just a fleeting scam, dissolving as quickly as sea foam. But for Haley, it was a fatal blow, obliterating the career she'd built in a few frenetic months. Her deal with Jake Paul was canceled. Her podcast became an arena for online vitriol. Each episode, instead of garnering laughs or support, drew only mockery and plummeting view counts. Haley's defenses now seemed like wisps of smoke, fading into the wind. In one podcast episode, she choked out a few words before falling silent. A heavy silence, mirroring her plummeting reputation. Under the fading glow of fame, the numbers became public wounds. 116,695 evaporated in hours, dozens of victims left with nothing. One person who lost over $5,000 bitterly wrote, "I dreamed Tuah would make me a millionaire, but I was just scammed." Then there was Linda, a 58-year-old cashier from North Carolina. For over 3 decades, she saved every penny to fix her leaking roof and secure her retirement. But after watching Haley's videos, she believed this was a chance to earn a little profit while supporting a meaningful project. She invested her entire savings into the Tuah token. "I didn't dream of becoming a millionaire," she wrote on Facebook. "I just thought I was doing something good. But in the end, I lost both my money and my trust." She didn't fall for greed, she fell for trust. And sometimes, misplaced trust cuts deeper than an outright scam. Imagine a single father in Kansas working night shifts at a factory, thinking he was investing in his son's future. A college freshman who dropped out, believing he'd grabbed a ticket to a new life. A veteran who served in Iraq, using his entire pension to buy tokens, hoping for the first win in his life. They didn't just lose money, they lost something far more precious: the belief that decency still exists, that some celebrities genuinely want to help their community. And the bitter irony, one reason they trusted Haley was her love for dogs, her calls to help abandoned animals. That trust is now just a cold, empty void. The internet doesn't let such losses fade. They've become a collective scar, revisited repeatedly on X as a reminder of the cost of trusting the wrong person. Despite the flood of cries for help from deceived investors on social media, Haley vanished entirely. Only when class action lawsuits began piling up in the New York District Court did the Tuah Girl re-emerge, tearfully claiming she too was a victim.
Thank you to all my true fans and all the people that actually watch my stuff and they keep up with me. We're trying to sort out all the pieces and stuff to like get all this figured out and make everything right. Oh my god, I'm gonna cry.
No, don't cry, don't cry. You're
Yeah,
adorable.
just give us a minute.
Okay. It's gonna be okay.
But to be fair, responsibility can't be fully shrugged off. Haley may not have foreseen the storm she stepped into, but choosing to lend her name to the project, becoming the face of a risky cryptocurrency, was her decision. And that choice dragged down the trust of hundreds with it. From a viral cultural icon, Haley has become a bitter testament to the fragility of fame in an era where attention is currency, where a fleeting moment of stardom can reshape a life in mere hours. Everyone thought the story was over. A viral sensation flared up, then quietly vanished from the internet's map. Yet, after months of silence, the girl who made America Tuah and spit on it suddenly returned. Not to explain, not to apologize, but to pour fuel on the fire. On TikTok, Haley posted a short video, her words cryptic, half joking, half defiant, as if she no longer cared a shred about her own image.
Breaking news. Haley Welch.
Haley Welch dead.
The Tuah Girl has died.
Tuah Girl is pregnant. Breaking news. The Tuah Girl is not missing. She's pregnant. Oh my god!
But the internet today is not the one that made her famous. No one laughed. The comments below piled up with cold rebukes. You think this is a movie? Scammer Tuah. Crawl back to where you came from. Haley Welch shared that under the weight of public backlash, she announced her retreat, claiming she needed time to heal a broken soul. Long nights alone, silent dinners, she insisted she had to speak out, even if I didn't want to. But that silence ended strangely perfectly timed with news from the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. The investigation into the Hawk meme coin, accused of being a pump-and-dump scheme that left thousands empty-handed, had been closed. And Haley emerged unscathed. The SEC did not pursue legal action against her. A month later, Haley's lawyer cheerfully told TMZ the SEC closed the investigation without any findings against Haley or imposing any fines. There are no restrictions on what she can do in crypto or securities moving forward. What seemed like a career-ending legal fall turned into a lifeline. As the courtroom doors closed, Haley stepped out as if handed a fresh start. With all legal troubles behind her, she believed she could carry on back to the podcast chair, smiling for the camera as if Hawk Coin had never existed. In a podcast episode, her voice trembled, laced with a forced smile. I was investigated by the FBI, then the SEC. I was told not to say anything. What more could I do? But the internet isn't quick to forgive. The pain of those who once trusted her still smolders. They immediately pressed her about Hawk. Haley hesitated, her eyes heavy. When asked what she gained from the project, she replied,
I did not make a dime off of it. Everything I paid for like PR crisis, a new lawyer. So, I mean, I've really come out with nothing.
That claim clashed with a report from The Hollywood Reporter. She received $25,000 for promotion plus 10% of the token supply, though the tokens were locked. While she faced no lawsuits, her name repeatedly surfaced alongside a formal case against Over Here Limited, Tuah the Moon Foundation, and other partners, with investors reporting total damages of $150,000. Haley tried to paint herself as a victim, not a perpetrator. She likened herself to Paris Hilton selling appliances without manufacturing them. I was just the face. I didn't make the coin. On the damages, she downplayed the figures. Only about $180,000 was real money. The rest was scams between other parties. That statement became a breaking point. Unlike Paris Hilton, who merely sold household goods, Haley Welch tied her name to a coin that cost people everything. A small group like Uncle Mike Allen still tried to defend her. She was never charged. But the majority fired back bluntly. Not being convicted doesn't mean innocent. An influencer can be naive, but that naivety can still torch someone else's life. The true horror isn't just a worthless coin, but the message this saga sends that fleeting fame can be a license to sell anything, as long as you skillfully tug at the crowd's emotions. This isn't just a scandal, it's a warped mirror reflecting a generation fueled by attention, willing to trade ethics to stay in the spotlight. After Talk Tuah, Haley tried to clean her public image by partnering with Nashville authorities. In a grand ceremony, the mayor presented her with a plaque commemorating the spot where she blurted out "spit on that thing," framed as preserving internet cultural heritage. But that plaque was little more than fresh paint on a rotting wall. It gleamed but couldn't hide the crack. Beneath each of Haley's posts, scathing reminders poured in like rain. Are those shoes paid for with tears? Every dinner you eat is someone's bankruptcy. She didn't face a courtroom, but in the court of the internet, the verdict was delivered. And in a place where the crowd's memory outlasts any political term, that verdict will hang over her forever. Now, the name Haley Welch no longer evokes the cheers of a viral sensation, but serves as fodder for public ridicule. In an episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, the character Cockeror appears with a mocking tagline, "Chew on that," a blatant, unsparing jab at her. Once a cultural icon, Haley has become a cautionary tale of the fleeting downfall of stars who rise through luck and lack substance. But this story isn't just about one person's fall from grace. It's a mirror reflecting an era where attention is treated as currency and anyone can trade credibility for short-term gain. Haley had a chance to pivot to prove she deserved the trust placed in her, but she chose the easy path and paid with her own image. The final lesson for both celebrities and their audiences is clear: fame isn't a blank check to peddle anything. Only when tethered to real value, transparency, and accountability can it endure beyond the final applause.